Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey and following up on the journey of some amazing entrepreneurs, one digital footprint at a time. With us, I have the distinct privilege again to have Clemens from Zoxy. How you doing? How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Man, it's good to see you again because I've made it my mission to track you down, to follow up on what you're doing because you have an amazing company. Explain to us.
Thank you. Well, Zoxy is like a Carfax for dating. It's your own personal risk management tool, and a person can verify the person that they meet is who they are, has no felonies or sex offenses, that's the background credential, or later on in the relationship there's an option for an STD credential. The beauty of it all is that it's privacy protected, self-initiated, and it eliminates that awkward conversation. So you can now say, show me the Zoxy, like show me the money from Jerry Maguire.
Right.
Instead of that conversation that people aren't having.
And what I like about it though is that it at first impression, it might seem something that might be invasive into one's life, but it isn't, is it? Because then you are giving me the choice.
Exactly.
To say, you know what, you are a nice person, and despite whatever it is that you've had in your past, I think that you are just really wonderful. I think that you've turned a corner. You're phenomenal.
Exactly.
Let's date, or not.
Right, right. And like you said, with this, a person can refer someone to get the credential, but they can't, unless that person accepts to get the credential, they can't, first of all, they can't see the personal results or their personal information because it stays with the vendor. So it's totally privacy protected. But a person can say, hey, I don't want to get the credential. And that's, kind of a litmus test, in my opinion, if there's not a conversation about why as to the level of honesty and how the foundation of a relationship will be.
Having that strong foundation, I think it's the best thing to have, right? Because that catapults the relationship into a very good relationship or something that will be mediocre and bound to fail.
Exactly.
And there's no guarantee that the relationship will be phenomenal and everything, even despite this, but at least it gives it a very credible and trust aspect to it.
Exactly. Creates a mutual respect amongst each person so that at least going forward there's some level of trust. And like you indicated, there may be some people that don't want to go through it, but they can at least communicate that. And if it's a decent reason or if there's something that's happened, at least you're starting communications and you're starting on the right foot.
That is. How do you come up with these things? Because this show is all about entrepreneurship and everything else,
right.
And we talk about. How do you come up with this idea?
Well, first of all, as a risk manager, that's my career. And when my daughter left for college, I read about all the violence in relationships, assaults, crimes. And I just thought about what a scary world it is today.
Sure.
And in addition to that, I have a friend who's an epidemiologist. She told me that STD transmissions have gone up like 33%.
Wow.
So, people are not getting tested as recommended by the CDC. So with Zoxy, a person gets tested every 6 months. After 6 months, the credential goes away.
Once you take the initial shock or the stigma, if you will, that might accompany somebody being asked to be Zoxy'd, to have this background check and to have the STD check, once you take that away, then you're like, yeah, here it is.
Right. It's a standout from the crowd. Right. Because today, it's not like some people are taking steps. Not everyone, and maybe not each step. So some people may say, okay, let's go to the clinic and get an STD test together, and they're showing their results. But that's at that point in time. It's not, a 6 months later, and when you begin a relationship, you're not certain that that person's monogamous, but at least, I think that it makes a person think, and maybe once they get the credential, they're more inclined to want to keep it. because they are standing out from the crowd. You know, it's a level of honesty that they can show the world.
Are you finding that there is a that Zoxy is age, that's the certain age group prefers the service more than another?
Right. I'm finding from age 30 through, say, 55, because that's the period where people have assets to protect. They're familiar with having tests at the doctor, and they understand the importance of it. You know, they read the news stories, or they're about at a juncture in their life where they're ready to start a family, and they're really looking seriously. I have had some younger kids, but not as much as those that are from their 30s to say around 50s.
Which is interesting because your original objective is you're looking at your daughter, she's
Right.
going to college, oh, I want her to be protected. Yet that's not necessarily the demographic and the age group that would probably adopt.
Well, now, I say that, but I must also say that's with regards to, because we launched with a combined credential, which was the background and STD together. We were finding that youth and young adults are not so interested in a background check. They are interested in an STD check.
Interesting.
So, so there's that, kind of demographic difference. And I think I do relate it to once you're a professional and you have assets, then you're more inclined to think about protecting them. So the background check becomes important. But interestingly enough, 70% of college students actually date online, which I was shocked about.
70?
70.
Wow.
Yes. So my thought in that is that it is very important because they're inviting people off campus into their lives on campus. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, and there's
that's an amazing statistic.
Yes, there's a show
incredible.
called The Hunting Ground, and it pretty much is about that. It's about people that prey on the college students, go onto the campus
Right.
and assault them. I mean,
Wow.
unfortunately, that it's gained such attention that there's actually a series behind it.
You're an amazing entrepreneur.
Oh, thank you.
With a phenomenal and very useful project, a very useful idea. Where are you taking Zoxy now? What is the future for Zoxy?
Okay, so right now we are partnering with online sites. It's an interesting period of time right now because they have internet safety laws in 8 states that require them kind of like a Surgeon General warning to let their users know whether or not they background check their users because they are matching people up with criminals. They're not doing the checks and things are happening. In addition, this is a time where there's so many apps out there and online sites that are freemium models. So this is a perfect opportunity for them to monetize and to offer a different membership level that allows their members to vet for people that are Zoxy'd.
I think you should come up with a little bracelet. This is Zoxy, and when I just show you that at the bar or at the party, hey, hey, hi. You know what this means, right? I've been checked.
Right. I mean, I believe that it will come to that, and it's not a negative thing because
no, it
for
isn't.
those that don't, it's okay because but it at least begins the conversation that is not taking place.
You're giving the individuals the power to make a choice, whether to pursue that individual despite whatever that individual may or may not have.
Exactly.
Period.
Right.
That's it. And if one begins to see Zoxy that way, under that eye, then the invasiveness, the stigma, even the emotional requirement that this service might carry with it, it's gone.
Right.
It's gone.
Right, and there's if someone doesn't pass the test, they're just not in the app at all. So, and it's not a dating site, but this is, when I say in the app, in the lookup tool. So anyone in the public can sign up for the search option. It's not a search as in a dating, but the search option allows you to refer someone to get the credential and to look up and confirm if they have gotten the credential. And as I indicated before, there's no personal information or results in the app. It's HIPAA protected, stays with Quest, stays with the background company. And so if someone fails, they're just not in the lookup if you put in a name, city, and state. So, conceivably, if that happens, a person could say, hey, no, I'm not because of this, or even before, they initiate a test, they can say, hey, I may not pass because of this.
Right.
Then the communication has taken place.
You start
and
the
it's
conversation.
easier. Exactly.
You know we're your #1 fan, don't you know?
Yes, and likewise. All right, it's phenomenal what you've done.
We love you. Thank you so much. And we're going to bring you back again periodically to give us an update on Zoxy, how things are going, et cetera, because we absolutely endorse everything that you do.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Great. And with that, we're out.